With Thanksgiving right around the corner, I wanted to do a couple of different Thanksgiving themed videos, and today we are starting with Popeyes. Yes, Popeyes. So obviously you see all of the normal Popeyes stuff here, but I'm not sure if everybody knows this, but Popeyes has a Cajun turkey that you can get from them. You have two ways of getting it. You can either go to a restaurant and pick it up for $60. Now, it's not at every restaurant. I checked a couple around and they did have one. Didn't know it at the time, so I actually got this sent to my house. They will send you a box with a damn turkey in it. Shipping is free, but it costs $99 for that. Now, it's a large turkey, but I wanted to see if it was any good so I could recommend it. We still got a little bit of ways to go before Thanksgiving, so I figured I'd do this now. So today, we are trying the Popeyes Cajun turkey. Before I get into the meal and show you what I'm going to do and make myself a plate, I'm going to give you the instructions just so people know what they're dealing with. It arrives in a giant box, and you put it into your fridge or freezer. You have to thaw it out for 3 days. 72 hours to thaw it out. So by the time I did this, I got it on Wednesday and I had it thawed out by Friday night. Saturday, which is today, I unpacked everything and I'll show you a little bit of footage, but basically you unbox it. I put it into a giant turkey pan. Now I didn't have a big enough one because I didn't know how big the damn turkey was going to be. And, we made it work. So you just take it out, you wrap it up in tin foil, you put it in the oven for 90 minutes, and then you take the tin foil off and then you cook it for another 30. So 2 hours total cook time. You can't really mess this up unless you dry it out because it does come fully cooked already. You're just reheating it, which is why it doesn't take as long. So as long as you thaw it out, it's much easier to cook this on Thanksgiving. So we're going to try that out and we're going to make ourselves a plate. So let's start off with the turkey. I'm going to try to get some of the white meat and grab that giant drum right there. When I first cooked this, I was kind of nervous that it was going to be like not good or anything like that because after the 90 minutes before I thawed it out, it didn't look right. It looked kind of pale. So I ended up crisping up the skin and it looks pretty good. So there you go right here. We got our white meat and I'm going to grab a leg, obviously, for review's sake. Oh, this thing, look at this. It's damn tender. That is for sure. Let me just grab this right. It's hot still, so I'm trying not to mess this up, but I grabbed something so I could pull that off. So you got a little of the dark meat, and a little of the white meat, and then I got a bunch of sides that I just picked up at Popeyes. Now, obviously, you can make your own sides, but I wanted to keep with the theme of the video. So, of course, we have one of my favorites, which is the red beans and rice. You can see this all steaming because I basically just reheated everything. You can see the stuff I put in the oven, and then I just reheated these in the container. And then we have the mashed potatoes, and doesn't look like a lot of gravy, but there's some gravy in here. I mean, it's on the bottom. Yeah, it's just sunk. I ain't mad at that. Then, of course, we have Popeyes biscuits. Of course, these are reheated as well, so they're not hockey pucks, which is good. Got some of their Cajun fries. Move this out the way. And I had a bunch of like coupons and stuff, so I just ended up getting some of these of their sweet and spicy wings, as well as a 3-piece of tenders, and then, of course, the blackened ranch, which you have to have, the Mardi Gras mustard, which you have to have, and the jalapenos. People ask about these all the time. If you ask them for jalapenos, most of the places have it, or you can use the app. You can get them in orders of 1, 3, and 5, I believe. And it's like $1 if you get 5 of them. So it's not like crazy expensive. It's going to depend on your location, obviously. But enough talking. Let's try this out. I'm going to start with what my least favorite part of the turkey is, which is the white meat. Because if this is dry, there it is. But you can see the Cajun seasoning. It comes rubbed all over that bad boy like that. So let's grab a little piece of this and see. That's pretty good. Pretty good. The seasoning on it is on point. It's really good. If you want to make sure that your turkey doesn't come out dry, I would suggest cooking it at an even lower heat and maybe taking 3 hours, maybe doing 300 degrees. But this is right on the verge, this is honest opinion, of being too dry. But I don't usually eat the breast part of turkey, so you can only take that with a grain of salt from me. But compared to a lot of turkeys I've had, it's not dry. And compared to a lot of turkeys I've had, it's seasoned really well. This seasoning is on point. You can see I'm just munching on freaking turkey, and I don't eat breast like that. And I crisped up the skin, so major plus. Then we got the drum, which was literally falling off the bone, which is a good thing. This is pretty good. Is it the best turkey I've ever had? No. But if you're from, say you're hosting Thanksgiving, I don't think anybody's going to complain about this turkey. It's better than a lot of turkeys I've had. Genuinely, for me, it's to the point that I would prefer this over a lot of people's turkey. And because it's much easier to cook than having to do your own thing, yeah, I would say it's worth it. Now, the dark meat is really, it's good. I'm being real. Let me go ahead and dig into this a little bit. The dark meat's on point, bro. Yeah, I get it. Again, it is more expensive, but you're paying more for convenience than anything. So if you're a person that you don't really feel like cooking and you can find one for $60, I would say do it. This is a big ass turkey. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I'm keeping this. I'm gonna eat this for like the next week as meal prep, especially the breast and stuff like that. So it's another thing you probably could do with it. Get some of these Cajun fries. This is, I'm not gonna lie, bro. This is impressively good to me. Again, just make sure you don't dry it out, and you'll be fine. I would definitely stick to the dark meat, but for people who like white turkey meat, I'd give this an 8 out of 10. Like for a Thanksgiving turkey, I'll give this an 8. 8 is plenty good if you can make good size at the crib, or if you want to do what I'm doing, you can just go to Popeyes. I wouldn't mind a Popeyes Thanksgiving. I ain't gonna lie. Red beans. Turkey's fire, bro. Again, they seasoned it right, so I can definitely work with this. Yeah, open up a big booty biscuit. Let me get. We'll do the white meat. 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 I wanted to make sure I had that lined up, because if I'd have got freaking jalapeno in my eye, that would have been not fun. And boom. I am not mad at this at all. If you're just looking to see if the turkey is worth it, yes. Especially if you can pick one up yourself, check the apps. That's where I saw it, and I should have checked it first. I just went straight to their website and ordered it. So that part's on me. But personally, I would still pay $99 for this turkey. Like, it's so easy. So like on Thanksgiving, turkey is usually the thing that's like the most inconvenient, takes the longest, takes up the most real estate. You just leave this in the fridge, take it out, 2 hours, boom. And I'm with that. Why the hell not? Man. Like, I'm legit gonna say this turkey, bro. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I've actually never cooked a turkey before in my life. I just never had a reason to, because Thanksgiving I don't cook. So the instructions come in there, but again, it's fully cooked. So the only way that you're gonna screw this up is if you dry it out. But I definitely wanted to do this and show y'all just kind of what was up with it, and I wanted to try it for myself, so it's a win-win. But I'm sure most of y'all are probably asking or wondering, or maybe you are if you're a sports fan. I'm sure most of y'all saw the fight last night, the Mike Tyson, and I always get them confused. Jake Paul fight. So yes, we're going to talk about it. Me and a couple of my friends watched the fight at a sports bar. So there was obviously a good amount of people there, which was cool. So I kind of have a feel of what not just I was thinking, but everybody. First things first, the fight was streamed on Netflix, which theoretically was a great thing. For most people have Netflix or know someone with Netflix, so you're not having to do the pay-per-view thing. But a lot of people said they were having issues with their connection. Like, it kept buffering. I watched a little bit of the fight. I didn't leave my house until about 10 p.m. So I was watching the undercard at home. I personally didn't have any issues with it. Now, I saw some comments from people saying maybe that has to do with your internet, or maybe that has to do with your subscription. I've talked about this before, but Netflix has multiple subscriptions that you can get, one of which allows you to stream in 4K and has a higher bandwidth and more ability to use more televisions and stuff, whereas the basic one streams in 1080p. And I think most people have the basic one, because the 4K one is, I think it's $26. It's really steep. I actually have the 4K one, so maybe that's why. I had no buffering. Now, I know, obviously, the amount of people on Netflix's servers, maybe that is it too. I'm just, like, throwing out maybe reasons why. Most of the people I saw that didn't have issues with theirs also had the expensive one, they said. They also said they had really good internet. I have 2 gig internet. It's, like, the best one. A lot of people have, like, smaller plans, or they'll have the 1 gig, which is gigabit. There's a newer one that most people don't really have yet, because they haven't really advertised it at most places, because the capabilities aren't, like, there yet. But because I stream and I use so much internet, doing different things, a lot of times I'll be streaming something while trying to upload things, and so I went ahead and did it. It's just easier for me productivity-wise and for streaming. So I also have 2 gig internet. I had 0 buffering whatsoever. So Netflix needs to work on whatever issues on that part. But anyway, into the fight. Mike Tyson, most people know at this point, he's in his late 50s. So him being out there in boxing, let alone someone that, I love boxing, I boxed for a while and whatever, but I also subscribe to the fact that I don't think Jake Paul has fought anybody yet. This isn't to say that he can't box, but I do think that if he actually boxed like a legit top contender type of boxer, he's not on that level. He's gotten better over the years, but he's not on that level. I swear to you, I was with my friend Sam. We were, and a couple of other people at the bar. Sam is into boxing as I am. We both grew up watching a lot of boxing. In the 90s, there's a lot of great heavyweights, so boxing was really, it's not as popular as it used to be, but it was more of like the sweet science, not what it is today, where it's a lot of like YouTubers and stuff. But we both at the same time. There was one point in the first round that Jake left his like chin exposed, and I was surprised that Mike didn't even throw a punch. I understand his stamina not being there and people using that part. I understand the fact that he's older and he didn't have a lot of stamina. The thing that people said, which I don't truly believe, I think was more of his focus, but that he didn't have the stamina to go the distance with many people, and that's why he lost to Buster Douglas. But that's one of the reasons, not the reason. He wasn't focused, as many people say. I think it's more that than anything, but I was supremely shocked that Mike Tyson didn't really go for anything. Like, that was kind of his calling card as a boxer. So, I'm trying to like keep this as. Do I think the damn fight was fixed? A little. I think there was a handshake agreement. I do. They weren't trying to hurt each other. You can see it. Jake Paul was throwing a bunch of jabs, and he threw a ton of punches. Mike Tyson ended up throwing less than 100 punches in 8 rounds. It's crazy. For Mike Tyson, that's crazy. I get that he's old, but I expected him to do so in the first round. So I think they both had their eye on kind of making it through the fight and just putting on a show. I think that was the same thing that happened with his brother when he fought Floyd Mayweather. Now, obviously, Floyd Mayweather is half of Logan Paul's size, but he's still Floyd Mayweather. Like, again, opinion, cool, if you disagree, but I think that, not necessarily fixed, but I do think there was an agreement to kind of like, don't hit each other in the head type of stuff. My dad, who's also into boxing, asked me a question in the afternoon before him, and he said, are they wearing headgear? And I said, I don't think so. Because he said, if I saw headgear, I wouldn't even go watch. But Again, there were some punches to the head and stuff. I'm not saying, but it wasn't a thing that you saw where two people were actually trying to like get after it. And I fully expected that the way that Tyson looked in his sparring leading up to the fight. Everything I saw was somebody was throwing flurries of punches, and Tyson is the person who likes to get up on you close. He doesn't have long reach because he's not tall. I expected him to, like, he didn't. No. Maybe he in his head kind of felt, I'm just trying to get through this fight. He, as much as kind of said that when he said I was fighting against myself. I was proving something to myself as an old man. And to that case in point that he did, because most people his age are not going to get in the ring with anybody. So, I didn't really enjoy the fight. Most people were booing at the bar that I was at. Me and Sam both at the same time literally looked at each other and was like, yeah, it's go. And as soon as I saw that, I said, it's going to go to distance, I guarantee you. And he was like, yep. For the same reason. And I was like, they're going to carry each other through the fight. And that's kind of what happened. So, I think it's more about the payday than anything. And I've seen enough to know that. Will I watch if there's another fight with him and somebody else? I don't think so. I'm not going to be one of them angry unks, but at the same time, I have a little bit of angry unk when I'm like, if they do something else, you know what I'm saying? I get it, you're making money off of it, and it was good, you know, they did the whole, like, I think the slap before the fight was also, you know, what it was. I don't think there's anything else there with it. I just think they're not trying to hurt each other at this point. Like Tyson or Jake. It would have been interesting to see if they would have actually gotten a fight. The one thing I thought was crazy is that Jake Paul said he could beat Tyson in his prime. I beat him. Tyson would have destroyed him. Like, Mike Tyson now might have beaten him if they actually fought. Tyson in his prime, I think he would have knocked him out in the first round. He ain't like, but yeah, you just go back and watch Tyson, bro. He was different. But anyway, those are my thoughts on the fight. My thoughts on the turkey are great. I think it's great. Like I said, I'm keeping this. I'm about to break this down, take the breast and everything, kind of break it down, and then use it for meal prep. I think it's really good, and I want to see how long this lasts me. If they did something like this year round, hell, I might start buying whole chickens again. I used to do that. Also want to do my weekly. I'm watching college football in check-in. Y'all know by now, because I've said it a bunch of times, that I'm a fan of Colorado. I really like what I saw from them today. I really like what Coach Prime has built in 2 years. I know a lot of people hate on the team. Oh, you didn't play anybody. Whatever excuses that you want to make. I don't know what else he could have done at this point with this team. Colorado, I repeat, before he got there, was 1-11. They had a history, recent history. They did win a national championship back in the 90s, but a recent history of being a really bad team. He goes in, first year they go 4-7. Not a great team. That team on the field today, it's drastically improved. What I see from the offensive line, now they're not a great offensive line, but they're a pretty good one. Last year they were abysmal. This year, they're pretty good. They got a really good true freshman. I think that kid's going to end up playing on Sundays as long as he takes care of what he needs to. And their defensive line has really been getting it after it for the last couple of weeks too. And for people saying, oh, well, they lost to Nebraska, they almost lost to North Dakota State, a team I played against in college, I called the fact that I thought the game was going to be close for real. And I said Colorado would pull away in the end. And they lost to Kansas State in a game that I hate saying you should have won. They let slip from their hands. They ended up going ahead, and then Kansas State threw an 80-yard touchdown to go right back ahead with like a minute left. And that's how they lost. So that one, while they did lose, they were in the game the whole time. Nebraska was the one game they played that it looked like last year. But they circled the wagons. They're playing really confident. And they got some players on that team, man. I know people talk about Shador and Travis, but their running back Augusta's really good. Number 10 Wester is really good. They got a lot of fast skill players. Like I think that at this point, they very much have a really legitimate shot. I never thought this in coming into this season of making the college football playoff. I personally was on the fence until I saw them play against Utah, because Utah is a team that has an okay record. Their record, I think they're 4-6, so they're not really good this year. But on paper, in the beginning of the year, they were a top 10 team. They have talent on their roster. They kind of got hit by injuries. Last week, they played BYU really close. Probably had a dicey call away from winning that game and knocking off BYU. Given that they have a common opponent, I'm not saying Colorado is better than BYU because I don't know. BYU I've watched play a bunch of times. They got a good football team, but they can beat them. So if they get to the Big 12 championship and knock off BYU, which more than likely they're going to play, they automatically qualify for the playoffs. If they make the college football playoff this year, there's only 2 coaches that deserve Coach of the Year. He's one of them, and the guy from Indiana I wouldn't be mad at either because he's done a great job there as well. We'll see what happens with them against Ohio State, but Indiana's another team. They're good. Physical team, a lot of running game, lost their starter for a couple of weeks, and still managed to blow the doors off of a lot of teams. Last week didn't really play that well and then kind of hit their second stride, and still that's a sign of a good football team. So between those 2 teams, if we get a college football playoff with Colorado and Indiana, that's crazy. But again, I know he has a lot of haters. Hats off to Coach Prime, bro. It's not easy to build a program that quick. It's not easy to build a winning team that quick. So again, Indiana and that team, just a great, great job. I don't care who you play against. Going 8-2 in any conference is not an easy thing to do. So, I hope they make playoff. It'd be really cool. And I don't know what they're going to do as far as next year goes because they're losing their quarterback and obviously his son. Both his sons actually leave. And Travis, he's good as gone. But it should be interesting to find out. But really cool. This was a dope little meal. Like I'm happy with this turkey. I think it's really, really good. And normally I give my food away, but with something like this, I can actually keep it. But it has my stamp. As long as you can swing the price, it's definitely good. So that's going to be the end of the video, man. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. We'll be back tomorrow. More content, man. Hand signs. They made it to YouTube.